Have you ever experienced something like this? You want to do something meaningful with your life. You imagine success. You picture a future where your hard work pays off. But when the moment comes to start, you delay. You say, "I'll begin tomorrow." If that sounds familiar, then the story might speak directly to you. Stay with us until the end, because the lesson in this story could change how you look at your own ambitions. And if you enjoy thoughtful stories like this one, remember to support our channel, Echoes of the Past, where we share meaningful tales from another time.
Many years ago, in a quiet farming village, there lived a young farmer named Daniel. Daniel was strong, healthy, and full of ideas about the future. He loved to talk about the life he wanted to build. He would tell his friends, "One day my farm will be the most successful in this valley. My fields will be full of golden crops, and people will come to me for advice." The villagers liked Daniel. They admired his dreams and his confidence. But there was one problem. Daniel had a habit that quietly worked against him. He was lazy. When the morning sun rose and other farmers headed to their fields, Daniel often stayed in bed a little longer. When neighbors worked under the hot afternoon sun, Daniel sat beneath a tree talking about his plans for the future. When someone asked for help carrying water or repairing a fence, Daniel would smile and say, "I'll do it later." He had many dreams, but very little action. One evening, Daniel's uncle came to visit. His uncle was an older farmer who had spent his entire life working the land. He was known in the village as a wise and patient man. As they walked across Daniel's property, the uncle noticed something troubling. The soil was good. The land was wide and fertile. But the fields were empty. No crops, no growth. Only dry soil waiting to be used. The uncle stopped and asked quietly, "Daniel, this land could grow beautiful crops. Why is it still empty?" Daniel laughed and waved his hand. "Don't worry, uncle. I'll start working tomorrow. Just wait. My farm will become the best one around." The old man sighed gently. He had heard the word tomorrow many times before. So he decided to teach his nephew a lesson. From his coat pocket, the uncle took out 2 small seeds. He placed them in Daniel's hand. "These are special seeds," the old man said calmly. "The first one represents ambition. If you plant it and care for it every day, it will grow strong and eventually reward you with success." Then he held up the second seed. "This one represents laziness. It grows quickly without effort, but it spreads weeds that can ruin everything around it." He looked directly at Daniel and continued, "Your life will grow whichever seed you take care of." Daniel nodded confidently. "Of course I'll grow the ambition seed," he said. But the next morning came, and Daniel felt tired. "I'll plant it tomorrow," he told himself. Days passed. Eventually, out of curiosity, Daniel planted both seeds in the corner of his field. He told himself he would take care of them later. But life went on the same way. Daniel spent his time resting, chatting with friends, and imagining the success he wanted. Weeks later, he walked back to the field to check the seeds. What he saw shocked him. The ground was covered with thick weeds. They had spread quickly across the soil. The laziness seed had grown wild and strong. But the other plant, the one that represented ambition, was weak, small, nearly dying. It had received no water, no care, no effort. Daniel's dream was slowly disappearing. Soon his uncle returned and looked at the field. The old man didn't scold him. He simply pointed to the plants and said, "Daniel, this field looks exactly like your life. Ambition is like a small plant. It needs daily work, patience, and discipline. Without effort, it fades. But laziness grows easily. It spreads quickly and destroys everything around it." Daniel felt ashamed. For the first time, he understood the truth. Dreams alone were not enough. Only consistent action could protect them. That night, Daniel barely slept. He thought about all the time he had wasted, all the chances he had ignored, and all the promises he had made to himself but never kept. Before sunrise the next morning, he woke up. He went to the field and began pulling out the weeds. It was exhausting work. His back hurt, his hands became rough and sore, but he kept going. Day after day, he removed the weeds and cared for the small plant of ambition. Slowly, the plant began to grow stronger, and over time, Daniel changed too. He woke up earlier, he worked harder, he stopped waiting for tomorrow. Years later, his farm truly became one of the most successful in the village. But the greatest victory wasn't the crops. It was the day Daniel defeated his own laziness.
If this story made you think about your own goals, consider supporting Echoes of the Past for more meaningful stories like this. Sometimes the smallest lessons can change the direction of an entire life.